Hi, welcome to GFLFWTF. I'm Anna and today we're going to be making what I like to call a donut cake. It's actually a cinnamon tea cake. It's gluten-free and lactose-free obviously. Again, it's not dairy-free, but again, the only dairy other than we're using milk and butter in this one, so it might be more difficult to make substitutions, but feel free to give it a go and let us know on the Facebook page how you go substituting to make it dairy-free as well. So, like I said, it's cinnamon tea cake, but I like to call it a donut cake because it tastes like a donut, which if you're a glutard, you know is ridiculously hard to find. So we'll take you through. It's a really easy recipe, and let us know what you think about it. So what we're going to start off with is preheat the oven to 180 degrees, and then you're going to want, I use a springform pan, but you can use any sort of round pan, about 20 or 22 centimetres. Give it a spray and then just line the base with baking paper just to make it that little bit easier to get out. So ingredients wise, what you need is 65 grams of butter softened, just to room temperature to make it easier to beat, 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence, half a cup of sugar and 1 egg, and then 1.5 cups of gluten-free self-raising flour, and as well as 3/4 cup of milk. Now what we also do, what I do, I don't find that the gluten-free self-raising flour rises the same way that normal self-raising flour does. So what I do as well is just chuck a teaspoon of gluten-free baking powder in as well. Just gives it the lift that I find the gluten-free self-raising flour doesn't seem to do. So if you don't like that option, that's fine, you don't need to, but I just find it gives the cake a little bit more height. Otherwise it does come out like a very sort of, I suppose, thin tea cake, but it's completely optional. So what we're going to do is we're going to cream this butter, sugar and vanilla essence. So we're just going to beat this till it becomes a little bit lighter and combined. Oh, I'm not ready yet. When it's creamed, it'll be a nice lighter sort of whiter colour, so the colour of the butter takes on as well as the colour of the sugar, so it gets a bit lighter. Add in 1 egg. God, I suck at this. There we go. And then so just add in 1 egg and then continue to beat it in until it creates a nice soft mixture. Alright, once the egg has been included, that's more what the mixture is looking like. Nice, light, creamy looking and whiter in colour than when we started. So from here we need to put in the 1.5 cups of self-raising flour with the milk as well. So we're going to alternatively put that in and mix it, and what you want to be doing is mixing in with a metal spoon again, and at this stage we're also going to put in the teaspoon of gluten-free baking powder as well to give it some lift. Alright, so when the mixture looks basically like this, with this sort of consistency, we're going to put it into our pre-prepared pan and then smooth the top, and we're going to put it in the already preheated oven, as I mentioned before, 180 degrees. So you'll see too that this doesn't fill the pan very high, and it won't, because this doesn't come out as a very high cake even with that baking powder in it. it's still quite a very low style cake. So this won't even generally breach the top of the pan. So once that's in and it's nice and even, we're going to pop it in the oven, like I said, 180 degrees and for about 30 minutes. So definitely check it at 30-minute marks. Again, put a skewer through, and when it comes out clean, it's ready. So it might need, depending on your oven, it might need 30 or 35 minutes, but always definitely check it at the 30-minute mark. Keep an eye on it. If it looks like it's risen a lot or it's very brown, even check it earlier if you want to. Opening the oven door while it's cooking won't impact it. So we'll come back. So while the cake's in the oven baking, what we're going to do is just prepare the topping. So this is the part that makes it taste like a donut cake. So what we've got here is 3 teaspoons of butter that we're going to melt. You can do a little bit more, a little bit less, it doesn't really matter because you'll decide how much you actually want to dress the cake with. So as long as it's got enough for the sugar and cinnamon to stick to, that's fine, so you can choose. And then we've got 3 teaspoons of caster sugar and half a teaspoon of cinnamon in together. Just give it a little shake, just to stir it all around. Then what we'll do is when the cake comes out, when it's really hot, we'll dress it with the melted butter and sprinkle the cinnamon over, giving it a donut taste. So you can see it's quite a very low cake. So what we'll do now is turn it into the donut. So pop it up. It's a little bit too hot for me to take it off the base at the moment, so it's fine to set it on your springform, or even if you haven't used a springform pan, you can dress it actually still in the pan that it's in. The most important bit to do is just to do it while it's hot. So you've got your melted butter, and I don't even know what the hell this thing is, like a baster or something, but whatever you've got to dress it, and put on as much or as little butter as you want. It just needs to hold the sugar and cinnamon on the top, but it's completely up to you how much you put on. I like it buttery. Get in the grooves. This groove you can actually see here is because it's been left by a section that I made with a knife. So it's really important to make it as smooth as possible when you're baking it. Nice and springy. All right, and then get your cinnamon mix. Now what we've actually done, you'll see that that's a little bit bigger than when you saw us before. What we've actually done is doubled this. So if you're someone who likes a lot of sugar or a lot of cinnamon and not just a light dusting, then just double it, just increase it. Now this cake, and like I said, you'll get a little bit, if you put more baking powder in it because of the self-raising flour, the gluten-free self-raising flour, that will get a little bit higher. It's never going to get really high, but it'll get just that little bit higher. So if you want something with a little bit more depth, then just put some more baking powder in. This one needs to be eaten not as soon as you make it, but so if it's an afternoon tea, make it at lunchtime. If it's for dessert, make it just before you make dinner, or even have it ready so that it comes out of the oven and you can dress it and then eat it. It is absolutely amazing hot, and again, Peter's have an excellent lactose-free ice cream. These two together go amazingly. Yeah, really nicely accompanied. It's best when it's hot. It takes on, if you reheat it, it takes on a bit of a rubbery texture to it, so I would suggest not reheating. Either eat it hot when it comes out or eat it cold, but I wouldn't reheat it. It gets especially the outside, gets very rubbery. So, yeah, grab some ice cream and cut it up and enjoy. That's your donut cake.